Today I will be giving a persuasive speech on why I think teachers deserve higher pay. This topic is extremely important to me because I am currently an early childhood education teacher at a preschool, and I'm in college to receive a bachelor's in early childhood education to one day become a first or second grade teacher. To start my speech, I will be providing a brief overview. I'll start with my purpose and then transition to a flashback to get my audience thinking about a teacher who impacted them, and I will talk about the teacher who impacted me and how she is the reason that I'm becoming a teacher now. Then I will talk about real stories about real teachers who are struggling to make ends meet. Then I will talk about how the number one reason that teachers are quitting is due to the low pay. Next, I will talk about how districts are extremely desperate to hire, even if that means putting an underqualified teacher in the classroom. And lastly, I will talk about how this is affecting the students. My purpose today is to persuade and inform my audience on how little money teachers are really making and why I believe they deserve to make more money for all that they do. Teachers are the foundation to almost every job. The student starts out at home and then they transition to a classroom. But before they go into the real world, they're in school with a teacher. And teachers not only teach the basic curriculum like math, reading, science, writing, and all those subjects, they're also teaching basic life skills that are needed in life. I want you to think back to your time in school. Is there a teacher that comes to mind? How did that teacher impact you? Was it the fun activities, the loving, nurturing environment, or the way that the teacher believed in you and pushed you to be better? Whatever the reason is, that teacher still impacted you and made you who you are today. For me, that's my first grade teacher, Miss Mo. She left a lasting impact on not only me, but also my two siblings, and she is the reason why I am becoming a teacher to this day. Ms. Mo provided a loving and nurturing environment, all while pushing us to be the best we could be and preparing us for second grade. I still remember being 7 years old and being excited to go to Ms. Mo's class every single day, and that is what a teacher should be. Did you know that according to Time Record News, the median annual salary for a Texas teacher is $59,000, regardless of their level of education, which means that this means that they could have anywhere between a bachelor's and a doctorate and still be making less than $60,000 a year. Meanwhile, the median annual salary for a full-time employee with a bachelor's degree is $70,000. That's a $10,000 difference. This means that teachers are making 15% less than a full-time employee with a bachelor's degree. According to Devlin Peck, the number one reason that teachers are quitting these days is due to the low pay. Now I will talk to you about a couple of stories from real teachers in America. First, I will start with Miss Brown. She is a U.S. history teacher at the Woodford County High School. She's working 2 extra jobs and she's donating her plasma just to live comfortably. Despite teaching for 16 years, she's still only making $55,000 a year and struggling to provide. Next is Miss Stolenberg. She's a language arts teacher at Norman High School, and she's making $34,000 a year and that's barely enough to cover her groceries and her living essentials. Lastly, Ms. Branson is a kindergarten teacher at Joseph Rhodes Learning Center. She's making $37,000. Despite having multiple degrees and 9 years of teaching experience and having multiple jobs, she is still struggling to provide for herself and her family. Low-paid teachers means that teachers are quitting, and teachers quitting means that there's a shortage. According to JackCentral.com, the main reason that teachers are quitting is due to the low pay. Some teachers are working more than one job to survive. Just like Ms. Brown, she's donating plasma and she's working 2 jobs and still is struggling to survive. Because teachers are so worried to make ends meet, they're not putting their 100% into the classroom. If they didn't have to worry about making ends meet or how they're going to pay their next bill or how they're going to get to their next job, they would be able to focus on just teaching rather than the other jobs that they have. And this, in the end, would create better statistics for the students. Now I will talk about how districts are extremely desperate to hire. According to the Texas Turbine, teacher shortages are causing districts to have to be desperate to hire, even if it means hiring teachers who are not completely qualified. Nearly 60% of Texas teachers who were hired for the 2023-2024 school year were completely underqualified. Since 2015, the percentage of underqualified teachers who were hired has gone from 17% to 66%. That is a big jump in less than 10 years. Now I will talk about how this is affecting our students. An article from the Learning Policy Institute states the effects of the teacher shortages. Because of the teacher shortages, there is an increase in class sizes, which means that there's less one-on-one help for the students who really need it. Underqualified teachers also mean that there's a teacher in the classroom who doesn't really know what he or she is doing or how to run the classroom properly. And lastly, students are performing at a lower level due to the changes and due to the lack of teachers with the necessary qualifications. A good example of this is my little sister, who is in 9th grade and currently attending a Texas high school. She has had 4 different biology teachers and multiple substitute teachers in the interim of not being able to find a qualified teacher or a teacher who meets the requirements or a teacher at all due to the low pay. Because of this, my little sister is struggling in her biology class, and this is extremely unfortunate because in 9th grade, there is a graduation requirement, which is the biology STAR test. And it's unfortunate because how is she going to pass that STAR test if she hasn't had a set teacher just in that first semester of high school? She is missing out on so much of the first semester curriculum. In conclusion, teachers are the foundation to shaping the future generations, and they should be getting paid at least a livable wage for all that they do. If we continue to pay teachers so little, the future generations will suffer greatly due to the lack of education and the lack of teachers. That is it. Thank you.